Everyone. So this UFO video came up during the LA fires a couple of days ago, and it shows like there's a little white dot moving along here, which isn't actually the UFO people are interested in. It's this one over here. Let me zip back a little bit here. You see something kind of like a long dark object kind of comes in and zips across the scene. Now we can see this video isn't very good quality. It's, we can't even make out any detail in these houses, very much in the background either. So the immediate thought here was that this was just like some kind of plane or maybe a helicopter moving along underneath this news helicopter. This is live footage from a news helicopter. And this white thing here, didn't know what that was initially. Maybe another plane. It'd have to be a small one, or maybe like a balloon or something. But this was actually solved yesterday, and it was solved by Flarkey, who's great at solving this type of thing. Figured out exactly what was going on, where the helicopter was, the news helicopter, and what this was. This is actually a plane, and this down here is actually another plane. How did he do that? Well, I thought it might be a good idea for me to kind of go through the process of how he and I do these type of things, and it's kind of a multi-step purpose. Now, the first thing with any UFO case like this that you want to get is the date, the time, and the location. And with this news video, we have that. It's we say it's in the West Hills neighborhood in the LA area. We got all these street names here: Kema Canyon Road, and we've got the time here, 4:55 p.m. Central Time. And we know this is in LA, so this will be Pacific time, which is 2 hours earlier. So that would be 2:55 p.m. Pacific time. So the first thing to do is kind of figure out exactly where we are, and we've got these roads. Let's just look them up. We can let's load up a web browser. All right, so here's Kema Canyon Road, and we can see the various houses and things that are there. And from this, we can figure out what they're actually looking at. So I'm going to zoom this in a little bit here. So these houses over here, Country Oak Road, etc., is these houses here, Country Oak Road, right there. Okay, so we know what we're looking at. So this kind of tells us, what direction we're looking at. We're looking in this direction, and so we're kind of looking towards the northwest from approximately the 101. So the helicopter's somewhere around where I put this camera right here. So it's over the Hidden Hills area. So I found this useful AI tool the other day, and if you just simply type in the location, date, and time, it will provide you a very useful link to ADSB Exchange. So I'm going to go to January the 9th, 2025, and 2:55 p.m. And in Hidden Hills, CA. Okie dokie. So it converts it to Zulu time, which is UTC time, and gives me a link. View aircraft movements. Click on that. It's going to open ADSB Exchange. We know roughly what we're looking at, the West Hills area here, and we're looking in this direction towards the northwest. Going to move back a minute, make sure I don't miss anything. Now, you're going to find the helicopter first. There's a couple of helicopters here. This one has an FD at the end, which means it's the fire department. This one has a TV at the end, which means it's a TV helicopter. So this is going to be the one here. There's 3 planes kind of roughly in the direction that we're looking in. So these are pretty likely to be, one of these planes is likely to be the one that we saw. They're all kind of circling around. If I click on each one, we can get the information about them. Let's see, the news helicopter is at 7,450 feet, so it's pretty high up looking down. This plane here is at 4,700. This plane's at 5,800. This plane here is at 2,600. So all these 3 planes are below the helicopter, so it would be able to see all 3 of these planes looking in this direction. I'm going to toggle the multi-track select, and I can click on each of those 3 planes, and the news helicopters selected there as well. So I've got 3 planes selected. Now I'm going to let it play for a minute, and we'll see this plane here kind of goes in front of the news helicopter, quite close to it. which makes it a big candidate. So see, that one is the 108 SA. And then the other planes, perhaps the little white dots in the background. So let's see, that's probably enough because it's already gone past it. So I'm going to export the KML. Go down here, click on geometric altitude. Doesn't really matter which one you use. I usually use geometric altitude. It does matter in some cases, but in this case, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so this has downloaded it. So now, if I just shrink my window a little bit and just drag in that from my download folder into here. This is the KML file I just downloaded. I could load it into Google Earth, but what I'm going to do is load it into SITREC. Now, SITREC is my software that I wrote, situation recreation software, and it's something that I and Flarkey and others use to recreate these situations. What you can do is you can take your video and you can drop the video into it, and then you can take things like KML tracks, which you've got from wherever, and you can set up a situation using those KML tracks. Now let's show you the process here. So what it's done here is it has taken the first one as being the camera, and it's taken like 108. We want the TV one to be the camera, so I go to camera and change camera track to be the TV, and then I'm going to change the camera heading to be use angles, so I can just point the camera wherever I want. Now I've only got a little bit of the map here, so I'm going to extend that out a bit by changing the number of tiles. Just reduce the zoom level a little bit, so we should get more details. All right, so now we can see the background over there, and we know where we're looking in this direction. So I go over here, and so this is one of the planes over there. So now we're looking in this direction. So this is showing this track here, N413 something something. And if I back up a little bit, the other one comes in. So this is probably the bigger plane that comes in from over here, and this will be the little white dot in the background. Now the times here, 22:54, let's see, 14:54 PST. Let me just change the time zone to central, so it matches what we see. Central Standard Time matches what we see on the TV here, 4:55. So here, yeah, 16:54 and a bit. Now we need to adjust these so that looking from the helicopter things match up. Let's see, so if I can zoom in here, we see these streets here kind of match what we're seeing here. Let me see if I can increase the resolution a little bit. Zoom in a little bit more. Yeah, one more. Okay, so that should be enough. Okay, that's good. So now we see we're looking at the same things, and this is the plane that comes in. So what I'm going to do is adjust it so this more distant object uses big spheres for default. We'll change them to planes in a minute. Lines up with this. Now see these valleys here, there's ravines, these little ravines that they have here. Right now it's over this one, and this is not in the right position. So what I've got to do is bring up my time dialog. Now this is a little confusing, but it actually gets quite easy once you're used to it. All right, so now I've moved the time. This is adjusting the start time of the simulation to be matched with the video. And so it's over here. So now if I move forward, we should see that object move across, which it does, the same as this one. And then we should see this one come in at the same rate as this plane in the background, which it does. And we see they kind of like, yeah, they overlap at the same position. So this one here is, let's see, what is that? This is the N, I can't even read that. It's going to be the 108 SA. And that's a big sphere at the moment. We can make it into a smaller sphere, but what we can also do is change it to the type of plane that it actually is, which is a Rockwell ACE 690. So I've done that, and you will probably see that it's right there. Difficult to make out exactly, but you can make it bigger and you can see it coming in. Now this plane, yeah, when you see it in the video, you can't really see the wings, and I think that's just mostly because it's motion blurred and a bit of the video compression. But it's also because of the color scheme of the plane. It has this kind of blue underneath and white on top. The other plane down here, yeah, still showing up as a big white blob. Let's make that into a smaller thing. It is actually a small plane. It's a very small firefighting plane. I don't really have something that's small enough to match that. I could use this flying saucer model. Oops, I didn't want to do that. That's that one. So I want to change the other one. Is that this one here? Let me just change the color. Okay, so that's that one. And I'm just going to make that into a smaller sphere. Like this. Leave it as white there. So I've just made it into like a 4-meter sphere. It's because I don't really have a model plane that actually works very well with this particular case. So now, go back to my full simulation. Here's the situation from above. There's the helicopter here. There's this one plane coming in here. There's this other plane going across here. And we've synced it up with the video so that they both match. There's this plane here going over this particular ravine. And if we press play from the start, we'll see that the movement of this one matches exactly with this dot. And this is just the data that I just downloaded from ADSB Exchange. I didn't do any programming or anything to make these paths. It's just following the data. So I'm just going to press play. Watch this dot here moves the same as this one. And then when this one comes in here, in a second, there it is. It's exactly the same down here. Because they zoom in with their camera a little bit, which kind of changes things a bit. But we can see that they're in the exact same position. And in fact, what you can do is look to see where one is above the other. Let's see, or where one, let's see, this one here is above the end of these streets right here. About there, and you can kind of zoom in and see there he is. He's above those streets. And this one here is right on that little bit of greenery right there. So there we go. This basically proves that it's these two planes, N413DF and N108SA, viewed from this particular helicopter. Because when you look at them from this helicopter's point of view, they look exactly like they do in the video. I hope this is useful. So this is Metabunk.org's SitRec simulation, which anyone can use. It's free. You can just go and log on. You need to register with Metabunk if you want to save things. I can actually save this one now. Let's see. 2 planes by fire. Then it'll give you a hyperlink which you can then share with people. Because if I reload that now, it should recreate that situation from that position, and then you can press play and show all your friends. Or you can record the screen, which is what I often do. Yeah, so you need to log into Metabunk to actually use it. And that's about it. So just kind of recapping, get the date, time, and location, using the ADSB helper chatbot to get a link to ADSB Exchange, used ADSB Exchange to kind of find the likely planes. We got this TV plane, we know which direction they're looking at from looking at the map. Downloaded all 4 by clicking on the multi-track select and then going here to download them. Simply dragging that into SitRec, setting the camera to the TV plane and checking this camera headings to use angles, and then moving that around so that it matched it. I probably should have zoomed in a little bit more to match it perfectly. And then just adjusting the time so that things actually were in their correct position. So, right there, it's by that road, so I need to line it up like that. So, and that's it. So, give it a go. Let me know if you've got any suggestions for improvements. The user interface is a little clunky, but it's a fairly powerful piece of software, and hopefully it can be used to separate the wheat from the chaff. And if there is anything anomalous out there, then it should bubble to the surface, because we'll be able to eliminate all the things that are not actually anomalous. So keep on looking.